Hi everyone, welcome back to Spaceboy by David Walliams. This is part 3 and it's called Loving the Alien, Chapter 25, Dogkind. Just to say, I'm reading this all for entertainment pleasure. It's all David Walliams' own work. Okay, let's get going. Chapter 25, Dogkind. Gulp. Ruth was sure she heard Spaceboy gulp under his helmet. The alien was nervous. That made her nervous too. Spaceboy, us meeting for the very first time is not only going to win me another medal, announced Major Majors, pointing to a clinking, clanking, plunking chest. It's going to go down as the greatest moment in the history of mankind. There was a wild applause from his crack military team. When it stopped, Ruth piped up. Don't forget Dogkind. What did you just say, miss? Demanded Major, piercing his blue eyes, swiveling to her. Dogkind. Dogkind, it spluttered. Yes, Dogkind. What do you mean by Dogkind? Dogs. My dog here found the first alien first, she whispered. Yuri nodded his head and barked. Woof! The Major turned to the alien. Is this a true Spaceboy? Yes, it is. The dog leaped up onto my flying saucer. At first I thought I had landed on a dog planet. This made Ruth laugh. Ha ha! A dog planet? Sniffed Major. A planet where dogs are in charge. Dogs in charge of a planet? Mocked the Major. I have a cat, Marilyn. She's my mother's cat, really, but mother lets Marilyn sleep in my bed at night when I get lonely. Clever little creature is Marilyn. I could imagine a cat planet where cats are in charge, but never a dog planet. Grrr, yeah, Yuri growled at the man, baring his fangs. Major Majors tried again. This is the greatest moment in the history of mankind and dogkind. Now Yuri barked his approval. Woof! The man's expression softened, and he tentatively reached out a hand to stroke Yuri. What is your dog's name? He asked. Ask him, replied Ruth with a grin. Without thinking, Major Majors turned to the dog. What's your name, doggy? This provoked a roar of laughter from Ruth and Spaceboy. Ha ha ha! Major Majors realized he had been had. His face glowed puce. His name is Yuri, said Ruth. Yuri, that sounds like a little Rusky name, barked the Major. Yuri growled. If you mean Russian, then yes, said Ruth. But term is offensive even for a dog. He is named after the cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. He is my hero. A collective gasp echoed around the top secret base. This was shocking news. Russians are the enemies of Americans, not their heroes. It's the law. Major Majors leaned over Ruth menacingly. Not in in Russian yourself, are you? No, she replied calmly. Well then, why did you name your dog after a Russian? It's un-American. Because I love space, that's all. And Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. He just happened to be from Russia. But who cares what country he came from? It could have been a woman. A woman? Spluttered the Major. In space? Why ever not? Demanded Ruth. This question clearly foxed the Major. For once, he seemed lost for words. Go on, prompted Ruth, handing him the spade for him to dig himself a hole. A woman in space just wouldn't work. A woman would attract meteors, a woman would accidentally reverse into a black hole. Well, women are not good at reversing. That is fact. Yes, said Ruth, waiting for him to dig himself deeper. Even the Major's own men were staring down at the floor in embarrassment. They would eat all the chocolate rations in one go. It is well known that women have zero self-control when it comes to chocolate. What a load of baloney, announced Ruth. With a capital B. Women can do anything a man can do, and they can do it better. There followed an awkward silence, interrupted only by Spaceboy clapping. Clap, clap, clap. Have you quite finished? Asked the Major. No, replied Spaceboy, and he clapped some more. Clap, clap, clap. Even Yuri put his paws together and clapped. Clap, clap, clap. Eventually they both stopped. Thank you, puffed the Major. Now, Spaceboy, as we have long planned for an alien visitor, we need to whisk you off to our Welcome to Planet room. Chapter 26, Frenzy. Major Majors led Spaceboy, Ruth, and Yuri to a waiting monorail train in a corner of the cave. It had been top secret base train, emblazoned on the side. The train hummed through the maze of the caves. They passed doors with intriguing signs on them. Toilet, humans only. Alien autopsy room. Reactor room. Toilet, aliens only. Radiation room. Intergalactic library. Silence, please. Laser blaster store boom. Decompression chamber. Radar room. Snack bar. Crash. After travelling for some time, the monorail train lurched into a door with a sign on it that read, Welcome to the Planet Earth room. Inside it was like a brand new cinema with a big screen. Yes, exclaimed Ruth. Is there any popcorn? No, snapped Majors. Now, Spaceboy, we are going to show you a short film to introduce you to our planet. He covers a lot of ground and speeds up the welcome process. Please take a seat. I will be back shortly. The three sat down, Yuri jumping up onto Ruth's lap to get comfortable. The lights dimmed and the cinema screen flickered into life. Thunderous classical music played. Welcome to Planet Earth, boomed a voice. The same words appeared in giant letters on the screen. Ruth had never ever been to a cinema and never watched a television set, so was immediately entranced. You are the very first alien life form to visit our planet. We are so pleased that you chose to come to this little old place we call home. We humans hope you enjoy your stay and do come and visit planet Earth again soon, especially America, which is by far the best country on Earth. Planet Earth is not is not the biggest planet in the solar system, but although we haven't visited any others yet, we'd like to think ours is number one. That is because planet Earth is bursting with this thing we humans call life. Let us now introduce you to some of the forms you will encounter on your visit here. This is what we humans look like. This is a man. A naked cartoon man waved on the screen, much to Ruth's amusement. Ha ha ha! It felt childish to laugh, but it's not every day you see a naked cartoon man waving at you. And this is a woman. A naked cartoon woman waved on the screen, much to Spaceboy's amusement. He snickered under his helmet. Mankind is the smartest creature on Earth. Now it was Yuri's turn to laugh. Ha 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 ha. These are some animals that you might meet during your stay on planet Earth. This is a horse. This is a dog. Yuri panted with approval. This is a cat. Yuri leaped off the roof's lap and began barking at the cat on the screen. Woof, woof, woof! Yuri! Cried Ruth. But there was no stopping him. The little dog scampered round to the back of the screen to see where he thought the cat was hiding. Ruth chased after him, trying to grab hold of him, but he was too quick for her. No cat, no cat. Woof, woof, woof! Just as she seized him, Yuri wiggled out of her hands. There is no cat. But Yuri was having none of it. Woof, woof, woof! He began running round and round and round again. Spaceboy, help! Yelled Ruth, but Spaceboy didn't move. Now, she ordered. The girl could be fierce when she wanted to be. Quick, smart. The alien leaped up out of his seat and dashed round the other side of the screen to try and grab hold of the dog. But this talk of a cat had sent Yuri into a frenzy. He ran back to the front of the screen and barked and barked and barked at the cat up there. Woof, woof, woof! Then Yuri took a running jump as he sprang into the air. His mouth opened wide to chomp at the cat. Grrr! He hit his screen at speed, bursting through it. Rip! Yuri tumbles through the other side, bashing into Spaceboy and hitting the alien hard on the head. Clonk! Harder than that. Clonk! That's better. This sent the alien toppling backwards as he hit the floor. Doof! His helmet slid off his head. His face was revealed for the very first time. Ruth couldn't have been more shocked by what she saw. Chapter 27. Just a boy. It was the face of a boy, not an alien at all, just an ordinary-looking boy. The boy stood up and covered his face with gloved hands, but it was too late. His secret was out. You're just a boy, she whispered. I know, he said in a surprisingly high voice. I'm sorry I lied to you. Ruth felt hurt, betrayed, angry, confused. Tears blossomed in her eyes. I thought we were friends. We are. No, we're not. I have never ever had a friend before, and when I finally get one, it's all some kind of a cruel trick. I didn't mean to trick you. Well, you did, and I hate you. The boy shook his head. Please don't hate me. I can explain. Who are you? Demanded Ruth angrily. She hated being taken for a fool. The boy hesitated. My real name is Kevin. An alien called Kevin? As if. I'm just a boy named Kevin. Not an alien at all. And I live in the very town next to you. You what? This story is becoming stranger and stranger by the second. I wanted to run away from home. Why? My grandfather, he hates me. You live with your grandfather? Yes, he paused. My parents are gone. Ruth stared into his eyes. Mine too, she said eventually. The boy took a step closer. Grandpa just drinks whiskey all day. He takes out his anger on the world on me. My aunt does that too, not the whiskey part. She does it sober. I saw and heard, said the boy, but that still doesn't explain why you pretend to be an alien, for goodness sake. The boy gathered his thoughts. I tried to run away from home time and time again, but Grandpa always caught me, and I was punished. Not allowed to leave the trailer for days on end, not allowed to see friends, not allowed to utter a word, sometimes for weeks on end. Sounds like torture. It is. I know. I had to think bigger. I had to go somewhere Grandpa could never find me. I chose space. Space? Yes. You were going to run away to. Ruth could hardly bring herself to say it because it was all so fantastic with space. Why not? I had less than nothing to lose. Ruth was lost for words for a moment. As much as she dreamed of blasting off into space, she could never imagine doing anything so wildly dangerous. For a million reasons, how on earth were you going to do that? Build my own spacecraft, of course, replied Kevin. Which I did, only it crashed. You really built that thing yourself? Asked Ruth. Yep, it took me 3 years. Wow, Ruth was seriously impressed. I read every comic and watched every movie I could about aliens. Aliens use flying saucers, well, in stories at least, so I set about building one from scrap metal. My grandpa runs a scrap metal yard, so there was no shortage of bits and pieces I could steal and weld together to make a spaceship. The engine was from an old tractor. So that's how you fixed Aunt Dorothy's old tractor in the garage. I like to think I'm good with all that stuff. Not that my grandpa had ever appreciated it. The round glass pod came from the cockpit of an old helicopter that crashed while dusting crops. How to build your own flying saucer. Do not try this at home. Step 1. Find a disused old bomb. Step 2. Collect scrap metal. Step 3. Shape the metal using a blowtorch. Step 4. Weld the pieces together to make a perfectly round structure. Step 5. Insert a tractor engine for power. Step 6. Put an old car seat in the middle of the structure. Step 7. Carefully remove the glass from the front of the crashed helicopter to use as a pod. Step 8. Bolt the glass pod onto the metal base. Step 9. Add a helicopter control stick. Step 10. Connect the engine to a central wheel to make the flying saucer spin. But how did you launch that flying saucer of yours into the sky? That was the hard part, replied Kevin. Some combine harvesters have these wide rubber belts. I tied 10 of them together and using 2 tree trunks made a giant catapult. That's brilliant. Bonkers, but brilliant. How to launch your homemade flying saucer into the sky. Do not try this at home. Step 1. Collect rubber belts from old combine harvesters. Step 2. Sew together. Step 3. Find 2 huge sturdy trees. Step 4. Wait until nightfall and attach the belt to the trees like a giant catapult. Step 5. Use a strong ball. Drag the belt back until stretched out. Step 6. Peg the belt on into the ground while it is taut. Step 7. Release the ball. Step 8. Drag the flying saucer into place. Step 9. Release the peg by tugging on a rope. Step 10. Launch. Homemade alien outfit. Also, do not try this at home. Glass from two-way mirror. Helmet made from an old trunks tank. Silver tin suit. Bed sheet and gloves painted silver. Snorkel breathing tube. Control panel from the launch box lid. Buttons from the shop till leather boots painted silver. I made myself a suit from tinfoil and the helmet out of an old truck's fuel tank, continued the boy. So last night I waited until my grandpa was asleep and he explained. He's been bawling at me for hours and passed out on the sofa in a drunken stupor. I knew I had to seize the moment. I couldn't stand living with him any more, so I took a step into the unknown and finally launched my flying saucer high into the sky. Chapter 28. A Deadly Secret. You could have died, stuttered Ruth. I know, replied Kevin, but I was willing to take that risk. That's brave, or stupid. You are anything but stupid. You did all this, she said, indicating his homemade spacesuit. So what went wrong? There must have been a leak in the fuel tank, he replied, because as soon as the catapult shot me into the sky and I started the tractor engine, the flying saucer burst into flames, and he remembered this, his eyes widened with fear. So the flying saucer fell straight back to Earth? Asked Ruth. Yeah, he said sorrowfully. I nearly hurtled straight into the farmhouse, but I managed to skim over the top of it. Thank goodness you did. Then I crash-landed in the field. That's when I found you, said Ruth. And I'm so glad you did. replied Kevin with a smile. Otherwise I might have been blown up into the wreckage. Ruth smiled back. But what I don't get is why keep up the alien act, she said. I didn't want anyone to know it was me. If my grandpa found out I'd been stealing parts from his scrap metal yards for years, my life wouldn't be worth living. But I wouldn't have told him, replied Ruth. I didn't know that, though. I thought it was better if nobody knew. Keep it a deadly secret. But now the lie has run away from me. You can say that again, agreed Ruth. What on earth are we going to do now? I don't know. I think I'm going to be in big trouble if these grown-ups ever find out the truth. Me too. Let's bide our time, he said. Go along with things. It might even be fun. Ruth smiled even wider. I suppose it has been so far, but it isn't all this dangerous. I like danger. Me too. But if we can't keep it up forever, so when the moment comes, let's all three make a run for it. Disappear somewhere together forever. Far away from all these awful grown-ups. Sounds like a great plan, replied Ruth. Woof, agreed Yuri. But just then they heard the door to the Welcome to the Planet Earth room swing open. Kevin was wide-eyed with panic. Help, he hissed. Ruth hastily slid the tall helmet back over his head before heaving him to his feet. Just as he gained his balance, Major's face peered through the dog-sized hole in the screen. Your dog has damaged government property. You and your mutt need to go back to wherever it is you came from, he thundered. But, protested Ruth. No, announced Spaceboy in his spookiest alien voice. The girl and the dog, stay with me or I will blast straight back off to space. The Major held up one of his huge hands. Well, not just yet, please, Spaceboy, he pleaded. There are some people who would like you to meet. I need to call the President right away. Then he barked an order at one of his underlings. Fetch me the red telephone. Chapter 29. The Pink Telephone. We can't find the telephone, came a shout from far down the cave. What do you mean you can't find the red telephone? Demanded the Major. We have never ever used a red telephone before, so no one knows where it is. Well, it must be somewhere. We've looked everywhere. Look again, ordered the Major. There was a brief silence before the voice replied. We all have what we just have, and we still can't find it. We found the pink telephone. Major was spitting feathers. I can't call the President of the United States from a pink telephone. Why not? Asked Ruth. They'll never know what colour it is. You have a point, he said. The Major turned and shouted into the darkness. Bring me the pink telephone at once. The pink telephone was handed to the Major. Ruth, Spaceboy, and Yuri could only hear the Major's side of the conversation. The rest they could only guess. Is that the White House? This is Major's from the top secret base. Get me the President. This is Code X. I repeat, Code X. Good morning, Mr. President. I'm calling you on the reddish telephone. Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, Mr. President, but this is an important news. Very important. Of course I'll make it quick, Mr. President. I'm sorry, is there a problem on the line? I can hear a loud noise. I'm so sorry, Mr. President. I had no idea you were having a presidential pee-pee. No, that's better now. Oh, a bit more? Go right ahead, Mr. President. Is that everything? Excellent. Oh dear, now there really was a loud noise. That was you flushing the toilet, Mr. President. Of course, you are right. It is always important to flush. No, I don't imagine the First Lady likes it when you don't, Mr. President. Let me get right to it. Here at the top secret place, we have made first contact. First contact with an alien life form. No, Mr. President, it is definitely not just someone from New York. It is real-life alien. What does it look like? Miss Major glanced over at Spaceboy to refresh his memory. Not too tall, wears a lot of silver, calls himself Spaceboy. Would he like to come over to the White House? Well, Mr. President, I can ask him right now. Ruth and Spaceboy shared a worried look. This seemed like a step too far. I have other plans, replied Spaceboy. He'd love to, lied Majors. What? Splashed Ruth. We will land on the lawn of the White House within 1 hour, Mr. President. With that, he clonked the receiver down. Ding! Have that pink telephone painted red, ordered the Major. I can't be using a pink telephone. People will talk. Very good, sir, came a voice. That was the President, announced Majors. Yep, I guess that, replied Ruth. Prepare the mega chopper. We leave at once, he barked. Spaceboy's helmet turned to face Ruth. This whole thing was spiraling way out of control. And I'm going to stop it there. Thank you so much for listening. The next chapter is chapter 30 on page 244, and it's called Deepest Doo-Doo, but I will read that another day. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Until the next time. Bye, guys.